Hi.
We'd like to take a tour at 1:30.
Did you guys sign up already? Or?
No.
Okay. We can do it here or online. So I just want to make sure you hadn't signed up online already.
Right, no.
All right.
And there are also staircases throughout the tour. 2 going up, 4 more going down. They are fairly steep, considered ship ladders. They're kind of a nice harsh angle, but they do have fairly deep steps and handrails, so as long as you kind of don't try to rush up them, they're not particularly difficult. And that's the big stuff. Otherwise, there are a couple little things that will come down from the ceiling and just stuff scattered all over the place. As long as you watch your footing and watch your head, there shouldn't be anything too surprising.
Okay. Wonderful.
We'll throw some history stuff in. SS Meteor was constructed in 1891. It was a 36 out of 44 ships in its class, a whaleback class. This was about the finalized design of the ship. The first 10 or so, had been built in around 1888 as barges. The next 10 or 12 had been given engines, upgraded a little bit into more like ships. By the time they reached about the 23rd ship, they had just kind of given up on barges altogether and turned them into full proper ships. At 365 feet, the Meteor is the longest they ever designed these. And it was meant to carry a variety of cargoes, but specifically iron ore to start with. They launched the ship and put it into service under the American Barge and Steel Company. As the Frank Rockefeller, it served that company until 1921. In 1921, it was sold off to a smaller company. The name was changed to the South Park, and it kind of changed hands fairly rapidly for a number of years. Between 1922 and 1939, it changed hands about 11 times, almost once per year, and changed cargoes occasionally throughout that time, from iron to grain to cars at one point out of Detroit, and to dirt. But by 1939, the ship was abandoned in port. The company that owned it had gone under without finding a buyer for her, so she was just kind of ditched. That lasted about 3 years. 1942, the Cleveland Oil Company picks the ship up, brings it over to Cleveland, and spends about 6 months doing a refit operation. So in 1944, they could relaunch the ship as an oil tanker. But at that point, it was officially renamed to the SS Meteor, and it continued to carry oil for that company all the way through 1967. In 1967, it was retired as part of a general modernization effort by the company. It was one of the oldest ships they had in service. They decided to take it out of service. It was also a massive safety hazard at the time and violated a couple international laws on shipping, thanks to a lack of safety features. So the ship was put into port, remained there for about 2 years while they looked for somebody to buy it. Eventually the city was the only one to make an offer, and the company kind of just decided to hand it over to the city as a donation of sorts.
Oh.
The city took it, pushed it up on the shore here, filled in dirt around and underneath, and opened it as a museum in 1972.
So this has been here since 1972.
Yep.
I was only 6 that year.
Yeah. That's the timeline for you.
Cool.
I'll start getting up here, get some more stuff to look at.
I'm glad we came here because it's raining in Duluth.
Oh.
It's been icky there all day long.
Yeah, just a little bit of drizzle over here on and off.
Yeah, not bad. It's a beautiful ship, so big. It's big for someone who's never served aboard a ship. It's big to me.
Not big enough to be considered viable as far as a oil tanker is concerned. That's why it was decommissioned. It wasn't big enough.
Yeah, didn't match up with more modern stuff very well. Look at the clouds over there.
So another one of the designs that, well, from a historical perspective, this couldn't. Well, I wonder, you know, if they had thought of this back in the day. This could have been a oil tanker in World War I, supplying oil to ships.
It occasionally went out onto the ocean, but they didn't carry the equipment to go on long ocean trips. But if somebody had put in the work, they could have converted it to an ocean tanker pretty easily.
Well, I'm surprised McDougal didn't think of that. It might have been, I mean, given the military and given the naval history and my dad being on a tanker, yeah, this could have easily been retrofitted and basically inherited to the, you know, U.S. Navy.
Yeah, but Al, you're interrupting the program.
This is your main deck. Originally, this raised portion wasn't here at all. You had a smooth curve all the way across the top. Even the iron ore hatches originally on the deck were custom made, so they were curved to fit. Unfortunately, those also made it really complicated to build. Part of the reason they stopped building them, they were really finicky and metalworking wasn't very good back then, so it was a very tricky thing to put together. The raised section was added by the oil company. It was a big chunk of piping originally that ran along the center here, and was all the equipment they needed to load and offload the ship, with or without a dock to assist. They used the ship a lot to deliver fuel to small towns along the lakeshore, so they couldn't always rely on an offloading port. Sometimes they just have to run pipes all the way to like a gas station or a reservoir. Small hatches on the sides here were for maintenance. You could pop them open and check on the level of the oil and the pressure, make sure that was all acceptable. Hatches like these were for ladders to get down below into the holds to clean them, and then loading and offloading were the big pairs. A total of 16 tanks, and then some fire prevention up in the center too. Nothing too complicated there, just sprayed fire preventing foam all over the deck. Realistically, if one of these tankers had caught fire, they were abandoning the ship as quickly as possible, and it would eventually explode. They often carried very flammable oil products in here, benzol, kerosene. Steam-powered winch here, and on the other side, cable to the dock to keep the ship secure. And then some stairs.
All right. I just needed to orient myself here. Here we go. Just taking it a step at a time. There we go. There. Oh, there you are.
Another one.
Up we go. Oh, the wheelhouse.
Wheelhouse or the pilot house, whatever else you want to call it.
Cool.
Got your nice big brass steering wheel in the middle, with a rubber angle indicator attached to it.
Was there a wheel like that on your ship, Al?
Not unlike this one, but ours is wooden. Yeah, it might have been a little bit bigger.
Yeah, probably.
They're pretty skinny, though. I think they painted over all this nice brass bronze too. Painted it all kind of greenish color. You can see the little pits.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
Magnetic compass is the original one. I never bothered to replace it since it worked pretty well. Our RDS system came in around 1925.
What system?
RDF, radio direction finding. Kind of a upgraded AM radio. Rather than tuning to frequencies, you just turned the receiver itself. So if you wanted Duluth's radio, you just pointed it at Duluth.
Oh.
It was a lakes exclusive kind of system. Since the shores are always so generally close, they stuck beacons all over the place, and you can navigate off them around some of the islands. For a few years at least. The AM radio was still not the greatest, so they eventually shut the system back down again. Gyroscopic compass was the next thing they got, about 1936. This guy's just the display, the main pieces in the other room, but it was a much better version of the magnetic. It had settings, you could adjust it. They liked it quite a bit more. Radar system came quite a ways after. 1946. This was military surplus. Shortly after the war ended, a couple of ships under construction were canceled, and the equipment was just kind of distributed throughout the docks.
Oh.
So this guy was military grade at the time. Pretty overpowered for a ship of this size at its age, but they happened to be nearby, so this was the ship that got put on. It had around a 10-mile detection radius. Pretty detailed, but still kind of new, so it was a little finicky. It was actually responsible for at least one minor crash I suppose the ship had around the 1960s. Failed, didn't display accurately, and they ran into a rock that was poking out from an island. Around the same time, they got a radio telephone. This guy had about a 5-mile range. Alongside it, they had an on-ship telephone. They had an on-ship the whole time, but this upgraded one was crank-powered, so it didn't need the ship's generators to be running. Just a little bit safer, a little bit more reliable.
Cool.
And there, and on the other side of the room, were backup communications in the engine room. This guy would sound a whistle, that one would be a bell, and there was a Morse code-like communication system they could use back and forth. As far as we know, it was never really used, though. This guy, the Chadburn, was working well enough that they didn't need to deal with the backups. For that guy, whatever you turn the handle to would light up down in the engine room on a similar display to this. And then a bell would go off until the guys down there moved their handle to match the lit portion.
Oh. So that's how that worked. Okay.
You could also roll down the windows, have a steam radiator up front, and these windows could all be unscrewed pretty easily and removed. So if it was nice out, they could get pretty much straight airflow through here, enjoy the air, and no glare off the windows.
Yeah, that's a plus. You don't want that.
Spotlight on the roof here. Nice high power one.
Oh, yeah.
So that was their searchlight for communicating? You know, like the what's the word? Signalman. The signalmen used to use that.
It was usable that way. Yep. That light switch kind of behind it a little. Rather than a shutter or something like that, they could just turn it on and off. So less efficient than a proper one, but it could be used that way. Up until they got the radio telephone, they didn't have much in the way of ways to communicate with other ships, besides flags. This is your navigation room. And the center of the room is the gyro compass,
Oh.
set up on a spring point or spring system, so that it could stay flat no matter how the ship was moving. Although with whalebacks sitting as low in the water as they tended to, they were very stable ships, generally speaking. Electronics on the wall are for the on-ship telephone,
Oh.
and in the cabinet is for the radio telephone.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, everything is so small now, electronic-wise. But, yeah, they made it work. Neat. Real neat. Oh, and there's a... Oh, yeah, there's the mapping tool and the plotting the course. Yeah.
Right, that map's from around the 70s.
Yeah, 1974, March. It's funny how this shows the Straits of Mackinac. I went to Mackinac Island for the first time when I was 5 years old in 71, so it wasn't too much before this map was produced. Neat.
And some atomic attack instructions on there too.
Oh.
Those are from 56.
Oh.
Generally speaking, they say to go out into the middle of the lake and park in the middle of nowhere.
All right.
Not much more to do.
Okay.
Then some stairs. This one's headed down and a little bit trickier.
There's a nice looking porthole right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a view.
It's got little pock marks from where somebody tried to break in with a plank of wood a few years back.
So what are those yellow things on top? I mean, what are those?
The hoods?
Yes, what are those?
Air scoops to pull air down to the bottom of the ship.
Oh, okay. I didn't even really, I've seen them before, but I didn't know what they were. All right.
We'll see the bottoms of them,
Okay.
especially as we get deeper in.
Well, that's true. You got to get air down there somehow.
The stairs can be a little easier backwards.
All right, I'll turn around for the last ones. All right, I got to get it like this. All right, here we go. One at a time. All right, I made it. Are you over here? Oh, there you are, over here. Okay.
So these are the officers' rooms. Jobs are up above the doors all the way down.
Oh, yeah, first assistant engineer.
In the case of these guys, the first, second, and third was just referring to the ship they were. At least in the companies this ship served under, they didn't divide up the mates into different ranks and all. Every mate was equal to every other mate.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, everyone was below the captain.
Right.
And the chief engineer. He was down the hall that way.
Mm-hmm.
Back when this was sailing, who was the chief engineer?
They had a variety of guys. Pretty much every year they changed them out. Captain, we know for sure at least the last captain of the ship, who lasted about 5 years, was a Captain Boland. You'll see his signature on a couple of notes as we go along. There's one right around the corner back here. And the assistant engineers have 2 beds in each of their rooms, but the second bed was just a spare in case of visitors.
Okay.
Company inspectors in particular.
Uh-huh. And the mess hall.
officer's mess specifically.
Yeah, it looks a little more elegant here.
Fancy guys. Chairs or tables are bolted to the deck and the wall. Tablecloths could be wet down so that the plates and cups would stick a little bit to the table
Smart.
with the sealed bottom. And the chairs have lead plugs in the legs to keep those down. You can move around a little if you want. And then meal times are also fairly specific, and that's also where we get Captain Bowen. Well, they did meals was determined by the captain, but at least under Bullen, the specific times were between shifts. So you got off your shift, you went to eat, and you ate that before you got on your shift.
Oh, very nice.
Pretty high class. Little $80. Whalebacks tended to stay under 10 degrees back and forth. Of course, the trade-off for that was if something catastrophic enough happened that they were going to sink, they almost always rolled as they sank. Which gave them a bad reputation.
The kitchen, my department. I cook for a living. Heck, this floor even looks like the floor in our kitchen. It's about as old, probably.
I have to rate their setup.
It looks like the same tile. I'm not kidding, it really does. Wow.
I ran a crew of 4 cooks on this ship. A head cook, a second cook, a steward, and a porter. Porter was usually just one of the regular deckhands that kind of grabbed around mealtime and made them wash dishes. And then the steward was also responsible for things like towels and soap and toothpaste throughout the rest of the ship. Kind of general stuff. And then the
What was the total crew on board the trip?
about 27. So you can go up to 30 and down to 24. But the records we have is pretty consistent at 27.
Okay.
All right.
Then a wood burning stove to start with. But by 1940, they'd upgraded to kerosene. It's still one of the hotter rooms on the ship.
I can imagine. Next to the engine room. There's a bunch of cooks right there. Neat.
The companies and the captains had a tendency to figure out what the restaurants on the shores were paying and then double that wage or something like that to pull cooks out of those restaurants.
Oh, smart.
Get the experienced people.
Uh-huh. Clever. And this is the general crew dining room.
All the regular guys.
Yeah.
A little less fancy.
But still's good.
So, roughly a dozen officers and a dozen enlisted.
11, 24, yep.
There's another picture, Al, of the regular guys. Wow.
A crew listing right behind you on the wall there.
Oh,
Yeah, so this guy lists it up to 29, but there was an electrician and an oiler they typically skip. I just had the engineering crew take care of it.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is a pretty nice, pretty big kitchen for a ship. Looks pretty big.
And they were single pot heaters, as it's called. They only cooked one meal rather than splitting the meal, a better one for the officers, blow up to the crew.
Oh, okay. It was just a fancier accommodations to eat the meal rather than a different. Okay, got it. All right.
Especially with bigger companies, you have the officers eating steak and the crew would get a soup with, steak juice mixed in.
Oh.
These guys didn't bother with that. Yeah, your regular cruise rooms. Work hours are up above the doors. There was a wheelman, a watchman, and a deckhand in each room. The shifts were AM and PM, so you were 2 4-hours a day and 2 8-hour off periods.
Mm-hmm.
Still not terrible.
No.
Definitely not the private rooms of the officers, though.
No. Let's- Okay.
And then the cook's rooms. Second cook and porter, head cook and steward over here.
Oh, all right. All right.
And then some more stairs.
Okay.
These are the 2 big ones, but they actually have bigger steps than the
Oh,
prior staircase.
okay.
So they're not too bad. It's just a matter of option.
I don't know about you, Al, but I seem to be getting stronger on this trip. My shape seems to be improving a little bit. We had a lot of walking and stuff. Oh, uh-oh. My bag was caught.
Okay.
I'm coming down. I'm on my way. I just gotta make sure each foot is secure before I bring the next one down.
Because you don't really need to get a good step. Make sure you get your foot on there. And back end of the ship there.
Uh-huh.
When the Meteor, as the Frank Rockefeller, was launched, it was accompanied by a barge. And this is where they tie that barge off. They kept the barge until about the late 1930s. Somewhere around there it was scrapped.
Hmm. Cool.
And then we get
Yeah.
one more of these big staircases.
I hear a train in the distance. All right, I'm down.
Those are the 2 worst ones. We got one more small one to go.
That wasn't too bad. I'm pretty strong.
Down here we got a couple things. In the back there is the rudder engine.
Oh.
Turning the wheel upstairs. For instance, if you turn it from the neutral middle position all the way to one side or the other, take about 10 minutes for the gear to reach that end.
Oh.
Maybe another 2 or 3 minutes before the ship itself starts to react.
Wow.
They had their entire rudder assembly knocked off the ship at one point.
Your turn now.
1932-ish. They got stuck on a sandbar and the barge they were towing didn't. It slammed into them from behind when the ship stopped abruptly and
Oh no.
took this entire rear section off. So there's a dividing line. It's well disguised, but somewhere around here where they just welded the back end back on and fixed it up. And showers and bathrooms, pretty much exclusively for the regular crew. Officers weren't supposed to mingle quite that closely. Then pantry and freezer.
Oh, okay.
Freezer's about the same size as the pantry. Carry roughly 2 weeks of supplies, up to 3 if they packed it in. But it's not hard to resupply on the Great Lakes. You go in any direction for about a day and you'll hit a shore, and follow the shore for a couple hours, you'll hit a town. So they resupplied every few days, once a week at the most.
Yeah, the ports were certainly closer than in the ocean.
Fresh materials too, all the fishing towns along the shore. Get you lots of fresh ingredients.
get the feeling this floor was rewelded because I feel the crown of the floor.
Maybe. It could be.
So I'm assuming that this whole floor was had to be rewelded.
We don't have like 100% proof of it, but we're pretty sure something like that happened. Undocumented repairs. Then your engine. Triple expansion steam engine, 3-cylinder, 2.3. Produced 1,200 horsepower, gave the ship a top speed of 12 to 14 miles per hour. Up until about 20 years ago, they actually did measure in miles per hour on the lakes too. Yeah.
Well, that would be, I think, about 18 knots maximum.
It was one reason that ocean sailors tended to look down on lake sailors. Lake sailors didn't properly use knots and knottage.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, then lake sailors look down on ocean sailors because the ocean is nowhere as dangerous as the lake. So that rivalry went back and forth. Pretty standard engine type. Was in use from around 1880 all the way up to the Liberty ships of World War II. Not very powerful, especially by the end there, but fairly efficient and very easy to fix. These cylinders, for instance, can be pulled completely out using a crane system along the ceiling without any outside help. Even if you're in the middle of the lake and an entire cylinder seizes, it can be completely repaired without a part.
Oh, that's good.
But it kept them for the Liberty ships, send them on across the ocean. Even if they suffered battle damage, they were much more reliable for repair. The other half, the Chadburn here, it's their handle and their bell.
Well, okay, they changed what setting it's at up there. How do they know which setting to put it on?
It would light up in the wedge.
Oh, okay.
So if they moved it to full ahead down there,
And that if something sounds to alert them that there's been a change in the status. Oh, and the bell. Okay. Okay, now if I see that in some old movie, I'll understand that.
Yep. And I know one thing movies often do that's a little wrong is if the bell goes off, you don't run over and move your handle. You have to adjust the engine first. And only when it's done, you can acknowledge that it's complete.
Oh, it's almost like getting into different gears in a stick shift car, changing gears in some way. Okay.
Yep. Your shifter
Oh.
doesn't tell you that you're in third gear when you're only halfway through getting into third.
Got it.
And this was your controls. So this guy goes off. This is pretty much all you need to worry about. This one is got 3 positions: forward, neutral, reverse. Of course, 99% of the time, it's in forward. And this one is power. So this is the main steam line.
Oh.
Follow that track. Just directly adjust the valve to change how much steam is allowed in.
Oh, okay. Got it.
They go from half ahead to full ahead. You just move the lever up a little bit.
Wow.
And much easier than they make it look on some shows. No running around doing these things.
Oh, yeah. All right, very cool. And some tools here.
Slip by in.
That goes a crew from the past.
As long as they don't get too loud.
Yeah.
They told you wouldn't want to.
Is this one easier going backwards? Or is it?
Easier? Yep.
Yeah, this looks a little weird to me.
I just went down forwards out of habit.
Yeah, you're more used to it, for sure. All right, I just gotta get going with the first step.
And you run up and down at 9, 10
I'm
meters.
accustomed to going down backward like this now. I just feel more secure that way. It's easier to find the next step. Okay, I made it down.
Where are you dredging up from the bottom?
There's a pump down there. I forgot what this line was attached to and just pulled on it, but just
Yeah.
one of our sump pumps.
Yeah, a little dab of water down there.
This, I like to be able to see it pretty well when you get to the end of the lake here. This whole lower section tends to flood with up to 15 feet of water.
Wow.
As it goes from winter to early spring.
It is in the ground after all.
We're at about ground level right now. So you can see the ground is completely, or the floor is completely rusted out. And there's a rust line a few feet up. About level with this shelf here.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty gross, very annoying.
Well, that's what it is at the bottom.
Well, the question now becomes is how much money do you have to sink into this in order to keep this as a viable museum?
So far, as much as the city is giving us, there's not much risk of it completely coming apart anytime soon, but it's something we have to keep track of. Keep an eye on. 2 boilers, Scotch boilers, the premier brand of the day.
Oh.
They were coal burning to start with, but the man, McDougall, who designed it, had the foresight to get the convertible models. So after running on coal all the way through 1944, part of the oil refit was switching them over to oil burning. Probably one of the few reasons the ship survived that long, since it was kind of future-proofed a little bit.
Oh, well, that's good.
While coal burning, there was one guy on each, shoveling coal in through the hatches, 110, 115 degrees.
Whoa.
When they switched to oil burning, one guy stayed in here, the other guy went next door into the new pump room, and they mostly just needed to keep track of pressure, watch to make sure the needles never hit the red, and if they did, go grab the engineering crew to see what they need to fix. The temperature went up a little bit, maybe 5 degrees up. They were also the least paid on the ship down here. Today it would come out to about $5 per hour less than the next lowest person on the ship. So definitely enough to sting. And their quarters were right above the boilers.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Well, you're close to your work at any rate.
Yeah,
Hot, hot, hot.
not an especially pleasant.
Yeah. Yeah, and possibly noisy too.
This is the fuel bunker. So now we've left sort of the habitable sections of the ship. That would be a solid wall. To get in here, you'd have to climb down from the pump room up there.
Oh.
The center section is kind of a teardrop shape and has all the pumps. The outside, the U-shaped portion, was full of coal to start with, and nowadays even bunker C fluid. I wonder if it's sludge.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. I see it. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Considered a biohazard in the modern day.
Yeah.
And a detergent. Unfortunately, the equipment to deal with that stuff largely disappeared because it's illegal and nobody manufactures it anymore.
Oh.
So we can't get rid of it because nobody has the pumps that are designed for it. They
Bummer.
have to be heated. You have to run heating elements around the whole pipe to get it to about 200 degrees.
Wow.
And now we're in the cargo areas. This is the number 8 port and starboard hold. The dividing wall in the middle removed, filled in with sand. And the rest of these are all filled in with sand as well, and then the concrete slabs poured over the top of them, except for this one. After 7 starboard, last 2 empty hold. This entire space was oil.
Oh.
The
Wow.
most typical cargo the ship carried was a mix of kerosene and gasoline, 50-50. And that's what they'd be running around bringing to all the port towns. See what we got. Probably a good, I guess, 3 or 4 feet of water left on there. When the ship was first built, none of these walls were here. It was one hole from that back wall all the way up past the gift shop area. These sections were also solid and continued up to the top. And the bottom was solid as well. Technically, this was a ballast tank coming alongside the bottom, but it was designed watertight, and so it acted as a double hull as well. The oil company didn't like all that safety though.
Oh.
So as soon as they got the ship sort of certified as a tanker, they had guys come in and cut them all open.
Oh.
Remove the double hull, any form of safety. That came back to bite them a little bit in 1967 when that radar failed and it hit the rock. They were right off the coast of Marquette, Michigan, and nearly dumped benzol out of that tank across the lake shores.
Oh no.
That drew quite a bit of media attention, and the company did not want that attention.
Oh.
It was a big part of why they decided to strike the ship off the records immediately.
Yeah.
As soon as that spotlight started to come, we got out of there.
Oh.
Didn't matter too much though. That was just the latest in a long string of incidents that has been happening. And about 2 years after, the oil trade in the Great Lakes was banned by both the U.S. and Canada. This ship, even if it could float, still doesn't have a job. It kind of deserved it. They were being, they were bribing a lot of people.
Look at that rope, Al. Did you see ropes? See ropes like that on your ship? Yeah, Christmas rope. It's red and green.
A lot to be desired in terms of their management. I understand the dynamic.
Yeah. Nobody ever got this ship sunk. They got a change up for it over years.
Well, either that or you've got a very bad rap when the government came up and started saying, we'll do this. And that's when the writing's on the wall for the company.
Yeah. Yeah, Cleveland tankers doesn't exist. The iron ore industry shaped up pretty well too after they saw what the U.S. did to the oil industry.
Well,
Wow.
advances being what they are, I mean, we are now the #1 world exporter of oil because of the different types of horizontal drilling that we are now able to do. So that's why we're the #1 exporter now.
Oh.
Because it gave us access to a whole bunch of oil that we previously couldn't get to.
That's interesting.
It'd be kind of interesting. I know there was a very brief push to reopen oil trade in the lakes. I think it was 3 years ago now, when everyone was fighting over that pipeline. That was one of the proposed solutions. But Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, and another state all came together and said no. It was like California or Washington that proposed it or something like that. It's the Senate. All the states bordering the lakes shut it down really fast. But yeah, that brings us back to the exhibits. Do you guys have any questions at all?
I thought you were very thorough. I learned a lot. I learned a lot.
I suppose that's a good sign.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, this is, well, we've been to other exhibits like the Cobia in Manitowoc
The submarine.
submarine.
That was interesting
which
too.
were definitely.
This
built
helped me
during
flesh out
military
some of my
years,
knowledge a little bit.
Well, I mean, this is the merchant side of things.
Yeah.
Merchant fleet.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely not a, I mean, well, they still had their purpose because you still had to go ahead and rely on coal and oil and kerosene and all.
These are like
all of
the
that.
trucks of the waterways.
Exactly.
But
Well,
holds a whole lot more
that's-
stuff.
That's the role of this company. That's how they got their license to be a ship.
Well, I tell you, I was up pretty early this morning coming into, we're staying in Duluth, and the Mesabi miner came steaming in at 2:30 in the morning, and I shot video, and it was just amazing. And I never, I'm just loving being this close to the freighters. I saw my first freighter 5 years ago when we went to Mackinac Island, and we saw several on the way over, and I was just so excited to see that.
Were you guys from around here?
No, we're from Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh, that's funny. I've had 3 tours today. One family from Green Bay and one family from Madison. And where are you guys from Madison?
I guess this is the Wisconsin day today.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, we were looking for something fun to do this afternoon. There wasn't too much open, and the weather was nasty, and said, well, let's go here. And here we are, and what a good
I'm glad
time.
we came. Thank you for the tour.
Oh, it's great to hear. We're just open for the year, so it's good to start off smoothly.
Well, we came at the right time then for good, before the summer crowds and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's going to be a mess, I'm sure.
And it's also good to see that, well, the equal hand of the government and the Army Corps of Engineers made sure that Superior still has a viable port, because it's all brought together. The Lake Superior, and it's administered by the federal government to be equal-handed. At least we hope so.
I suppose so. Yeah.
So, well, I guess we'll find another location to go visit.
Well, let me check out the gift shop.
It's not a super bad, but there's another museum just across the street. They're 1890.
Looks like it's used to you guys.
I guess so.
Let's start right outside.
All right.